Federal Cabinet is due to debate a plan to force new migrants to live for at least 5 years outside our two biggest cities of Sydney and Melbourne.
It's an interesting idea, and our political reporter Jonathan Kersley is across it now. He joins us. Jono, how exactly would it work?
Good morning, Deb. Well, we know congestion in capital cities like Melbourne and Sydney is a major problem. The government has long said it's looking at population and growth, but without a definitive population policy. So now it's being reported this morning the Morrison government may consider new measures that would require new arrivals to spend time, perhaps 5 years, living outside of Sydney or Melbourne. This is because in the past financial year, there have been 112,000 skilled migrants arrive. Of those, 87% settled in Sydney and Melbourne. If this does go through the government and the cabinet and is put into effect, it wouldn't apply to all migrants, just certain categories of arrivals. There's been a shake-up of the ministerial portfolios after that leadership coup last week. So Alan Tudge now has responsibility for population. Only yesterday he said he faced a challenge in finding incentives for people to live outside capital cities. The government is simply trying to get to work after the chaos of last week, but there's also pressure on that man, the man behind the coup, Peter Dutton. He'll be subject to a Senate inquiry after overturning visa cancellations. The latest claim is he intervened in the case of an au pair who once worked for the cousin of AFL boss Gillan McLachlan. It was reported Mr McLachlan made an approach to Mr Dutton's office, but Mr Dutton has strongly denied any suggestion he became involved because of the working relationship she once had with the McLachlan family. He said in a statement, and I'll quote, "I consider cases on their merits. Any suggestion cases are determined on any other basis is completely ridiculous." And just before I go, we know that Malcolm Turnbull is due to force a by-election in his Sydney seat of Wentworth, but there is a new poll out today suggesting that the Liberal primary vote has plummeted from 62% to 39%. These one-seat polls are notoriously hard to predict, but it's very hard to win a seat when your primary vote starts with a 3.
Yeah.